Smash! Smash!
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's Lyle from Hooked on Niagara Guide Service, and today I'm in Peter's Tackle showing off a couple of nice setups if you're getting started for salmon fishing on Lake Ontario. Today I'm going to be showing off a couple of nice Okuma rods and reels as well as some line that will get you started on the lake if you're new to salmon trolling. On top of that, I'm going to show a few lures as well as terminal tackle that you'll need to get started on the lake. So the first setup that I want to talk about is a Dipsy diver setup. It's probably the best place to start if you're new to salmon fishing because it doesn't require a whole lot of upfront investment. The nice thing about the Dipsy diver is that you can buy a Dipsy diver, attach it to your line, and you're pretty much good to go. You just need your bait, either spoons, flasher fly, flasher meat. As far as the Dipsy diver rod goes, you want something that's fairly stiff and about 10 feet long. So this right here is the Okuma Classic Pro GLT. It's a 10-foot medium action rod, but it's very stiff, and that's what you want. The reason for that is because when a Dipsy diver is pulling, it's always creating resistance. Then when you add that to a fish and the fish fight, you want something that can handle all that weight. This rod also features a nice triple grip, which makes for easy feel in your hand. Your hand's not going to get super sore holding the rod while you're fighting that big king. So now moving on to another setup. If you're looking to take things to sort of that next level and you're looking to add some downriggers to your boat, using a downrigger rod that's specifically made for downriggers is really important. So here I have the Okuma Classic Pro GLT downrigger rod. This is a slightly shorter rod than the Dipsy diver, and it's also a little bit softer. This is because you want your rod to bend a lot down as it clips to the cannonball. This creates sort of a spring action when the fish hits the lure and leads to better hook sets. This rod also features the nice triple grip to be comfortable in your hand, and it's a lot softer, as I mentioned, which is really nice when fighting a fish on a downrigger. On the back wall here at Peter's Tackle, we have all the Dipsy divers that you could ever imagine. Here's the Dipsy divers. They come in different sizes. The size that I recommend if you're getting started would be a size 1. It's sort of your general purpose diver. You can fish shallow with it. You can fish fairly deep with it. If you're looking to only fish sort of 40 or 50 feet or less, you can go down to a size 0. It's a little bit smaller. And once you start fishing deeper water, you can also go up to a mag-sized diver. Just like lures, there's lots of different colors for Dipsy divers, and if you're only looking to get into a few just to get your feet wet, I suggest either going with a clear or a black. That way you're sort of fishing a neutral color. There's lots of other divers though that you can experiment, which can help increase your catch on certain days. Here at the back of the store of Peter's is sort of where all the goodies are. This is where the flashers, the spoons, all the things that are on the business end sit. And I'll go over a few suggestions that I have if you're just getting started on the lake. Watermelon. I've always been a big fan of watermelon. This is the Michigan Stinger UV tape, and I like this spoon a lot if the water's cloudy or on a cloudy day. If you're looking for something in clearer water, you can always go with something like a Blue Dolphin. Silver Streak makes a nice one. It's got a glow ladder back, and I like this a lot in clear water. So now let's cover a few reels for those Dipsy and downrigger setups. So now that we've checked out the rods at the back, it's time to pair them up with a nice reel. So a couple options that I have here are the Okuma Convector 45D and the Okuma Cold Water 45D as well. So both these reels are a little bit on the larger side, and they're good for both downrigger or Dipsy diver presentations. These are what I used on Unreal. I also use convectors a lot on my own boat, and they're both great reels. They're both not going to let you down, they're dependable, and the drags are nice. So if you're considering getting a Dipsy diver or a downrigger setup, I definitely would check out these reels. For the lines, I suggest 20-pound mono if you're downrigger fishing, or 50-pound braid if you're fishing a Dipsy diver. Something that's also important to mention is that both of these reels have a line counter. So if you're Dipsy diver fishing, how you know how far out your line is going to determine how far down your lure is. So you need a reel with a line counter if you're going to fish a Dipsy diver. On the flip side, if you're fishing a downrigger, it is nice to know how much line you have behind your cannonball and overall how far back your fish is once you're fighting it. While it's not necessary with a downrigger, it is something nice to have and something that I definitely have on my boat. So I know I talked a little bit earlier about a couple spoons that I liked if I'm getting started, but also flashers and flasher flies are important when you're starting out as well. There's sometimes that the salmon really want that rotating presentation and a spoon just doesn't give you that. So over here I have some flies. They're atomic flies and Angela carries them for a reason because they're really good. Most of the colors you can experiment with. A lot of them are greens and blues with some silvers and whites mixed in. As well, you usually run those flies behind a spin doctor. So right here I have a lemon ice, which is a good high sun color. It's got lots of silver on it, so it helps the sun flash and get the fish's attention. As well, a pattern that I really like is the white with green dots. This is a good pattern for low light as it glows a lot. Terminal tackle is sort of the final thing that I want to talk about now that we've covered the rods, reels, and some of the basic setups for fishing. Terminal tackle is very important when you're salmon fishing, and although salmon fishing in general is fairly expensive to get into, I really suggest not cheaping out when it comes to terminal tackle because this is what connects you to the fish. Trolling is also something that puts a lot of stress on the terminal aspects of your presentation, whether it's the fluorocarbon leader or your swivels. So here's some swivels that I like to run. Spros being the number one for me. They are on the expensive side, but I really think that you get what you pay for when it comes to those swivels. I also use the Berkeley cross locks. They're nice, they work. They are a little bit more brittle, I guess, but they do the job just fine. So if you're getting started, those are probably a good option. One last thing that I can't forget is the fluorocarbon. This is what connects you from your Dipsy diver or from your Downrigger setup to your lure. I usually have 20 pound and 30 pound on board, depending on the time of year. Usually in the spring the 20 is good, fish are a little bit smaller, and as I move into the summer and into the fall, I go up to a 30 pound just to really make sure that I don't lose fish. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comments, questions, or ideas for a future video that you'd like to see, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks again, and as always, get outside and go fishing.